Hubbard's pretty good, man. We didn't do a very good job on him, but man, he made some tough shots. So I thought Chris, stepped up, said, let me take him. I thought maybe he did the best job at anybody, but it was late in the game and we'd already given up a bunch of them to him. So, I mean, he goes for 38. I mean, we got to do a better job on defense, obviously, but we definitely made some big plays.
I'll have more in a moment.
Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965 by Hal and Melissa Guthrie, Guthrie's was America's first chicken finger restaurant. Guthrie still uses the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe in every chicken finger they serve. Fresh, hot, and fast. Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers has been Alabama owned and operated since 1965, and Guthrie's is still growing strong. Come see us soon. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant, and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We've got you covered for Alabama men's basketball on Saturday and women's basketball on Sunday, with both teams hosting Georgia at Coleman Coliseum. Tip-off for the men's game is set for 3 p.m. Central on Saturday, with our coverage on the network starting at 2, and the women's game will begin at 2 p.m. Central, with our coverage on the network starting at 1:45 p.m. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown and you.
The lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. You're listening to another station I don't understand. Nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. They go up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land. Nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Somebody respond.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Football Friday in the Doghouse as we return to the air after a week of construction. Now, look, we are back on the air with all our local content, but we are way from done with the build-out. In fact, the main performance studio is not even done yet, to be honest with you, nor is the control room. But we are done enough to be back on. So we appreciate your patience as we continue to finish up our project. Now, here in the Big Dog Production Studio, nothing has changed, you know. So what that means is I've got this. Oh, yeah. The classic, original Monday Night Football Friday music for you. Yeah, baby. Oh, I know. Yeah. We got engineers, we got the phone guy. The phone guy's doing the moonwalk out the back of the hall. I get it. Moulton's in the other room playing the air piano. Joe's got the white man overbite going on. It's just and we're gonna see how Joe does with football music today. I mean, he's literally working amongst the mess and chaos that is the current control room, master control room. And wires all over the place. There's stuff all over the. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. But Joe's a pro, so he's going to figure out a way to make it work. I'm sure that he will get it done. There's no doubt about it. Now, we also have for you today the often imitated, never duplicated Friday trifecta, and this one is always popular. This is the Super Bowl prop fecta. All right. Now, we've got a tight race going on after last week's championship games, and I will get you the updated standings in just a moment here. But we have a fun twist to this one as well, and I'm going to explain all of that for you here. Now, remember, you are playing for the TOC Ice Suite at the Huntsville Havoc game on March 1st. for you and 5 of your friends. You get the entire suite. You get the whole shooting match. Now, coming up on the show today at the top of the one, Steve Merril from Wager Talk TV is back with a look at some of the fun props that are on the table right now. But otherwise, it's all about you. You get this entire first hour of the show, so you can go ahead and start busting us a phone call. And you can do that at 256-576-4977. Nothing has changed there. 256-576-4977. I haven't checked yet, but I assume that the socials have the TriFECTA posted already. And you can get that in via the text window at 732-982-7469. If it's easier for you to remember, it's 7329-TA show. That works as well. We welcome those of you watching on WZZN TV, our YouTube channel, and on the X as well. Check that out yet if you haven't. We welcome the listeners on the app at 97.7 ESPN and also those listening over the air in Winchester, Tennessee on ESPN Winchester. As I said, your phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. All right. My personal X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The Zone is on X at 97.7 ESPN. Go ahead and throw a follow to ESPN Winchester as well. Speaking of that, I assume we're on down there. I don't know. I haven't heard from the muckety mucks down up there in Winchester. I haven't heard yet from those people. Why isn't my Face ID working anymore? Who am I? Oh, there you go. It's like my phone just stopped recognizing me altogether. It's just like we don't even know who you are. What's up with that? Anyway, I assume we're on in Winchester. We'll see. If we get a call from Archie or anybody else up in Winchester, we'll find out. You can go ahead and throw them a follow as well at ESPN Winchester. In fact, get everybody's apps. Get the Zone app. Get the Talk Radio WZZN app. By the way, Talk Radio WZZN right now with our Zone programming, with our ESPN programming. Don't get nervous about that. Right now, it's doing that. We'll be back to your Fox News here shortly enough. All right, but again, everything is under construction. But we didn't want to wait much longer for getting back on the air. We didn't want you to forget about us, for God's sakes. I mean, you'd totally forget about us. If we went much longer, you wouldn't even know that we existed. So we felt like we needed to get back on, even though everything's not 100%. Don't forget about your big Zone deals. They are 100%. You can find that link at 977ESPN.com. You can take advantage of half-price deals right now. We just added the Hickory Store Barbecue on Blake Bottom Road. You know what? I didn't even tell Captain Cool about any of that stuff so that he could get it on the socials. We'll get the links on the socials. We're just all scrambling like crazy, just drinking from a fire hose right now. But we did add the Hickory Store Barbecue on Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia. And next Thursday, I will be broadcasting the show from out there at the Hickory Store Barbecue. Place looks amazing. I've only seen it online. Place looks so cool. It's got a really neat vibe out there by Jeff Road and Blake Bottom Road. So come on out and say hello. Be tremendous. We've also restocked Bad Daddy's Burger Bar today. And you know those always fly off the shelf. So if you're a fan of Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, you need to get yourself some of those half-price certificates as well. All right, so let's get to this TriFECTA. But first, let's take a look at the scoreboard to see where you were at. Now, we put 8 points on the board last week. Remember, we threw up 8 because the lead was 8. That's what Jay in Athens had. He had 8 points. He had a 3-point lead in that deal. So we put 8 points on the board. But Jay only hit one selection out of the 4 picks last week. He only hit one. So he left the door wide open. He has 10 points right now. Badger Larry hit the whole enchilada. In fact, so did Crimson Carl. Or was it Krakow? No, I think it was the Krakow that hit it. The Krakow and Badger Larry hit the whole enchilada, got all the 8 points. So Badger Larry has tied Jay and Athens at 10. The Krakow has 9. Badger Larry, by the way, I don't know if he'll get in or not. Badger Larry is skiing out in Vail or something. He's out in Colorado skiing. So who knows? He might leave the gates open. The Krakow's got 9. Crimson Carl has 8. Bama Brad has 8. Maybe it was Bama Brad that hit the whole. I think Bama Brad hit them all. I can't remember. Richard in Madison has 5. Redwine, Mongo, Mel in Scottsboro, LSU, Lynch, Grimm, Bowling, JJ, all with 4. Now, here's the thing. Wolverine Dan has a couple of points. He's on the board. Here's the thing, though. There's 8 points available today, and then there's 8 more points available next week, and they're all Super Bowl related, which means 16 points on the table for the Super Bowl. 16 points. Today we do the fun props. Next week we do some player props along with the Super Bowl in the side and the quarterbacks. Okay? So 16 big points on the board. Everyone is alive. Everyone is alive. So we have 4 picks today, and each one is worth 2 points. Now, here you go. Going to start with the coin toss. Heads or tails? By the way, 50-50 shot there. I think it's actually like 51% heads, something like that. But it's basically a 50-50 shot. Heads or tails? Then we have got the national anthem. Over or under 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which is 125 seconds. And I'm going to be totally embarrassed and tell you, I don't know who's singing the national anthem. I don't think anybody other than, I thought last year's Chris Stapleton national anthem was one of the best ever. The number one national anthem at the Super Bowl is always going to be, what's her name? The girl that died. Whitney Houston. It's always going to be Whitney Houston. That's the number one. Okay? Here's the dirty little secret. She lip-synced it. She didn't even sing it there. You go to a high school game, often you hear the Whitney Houston national anthem. Okay? She did not sing that live in Tampa before the Bills and the Giants. She did not sing that live. That was lip-synced. So the best live national anthem was Chris Stapleton last year, as far as I'm concerned. Over or under 205? We'll put the crack research team on and find out who's... I don't even know if the research team made it to the new studio. I don't even know. All I know is the control room is huge. Huge. Could play 3-on-3 football in that control room. So maybe we got the whole crack research team in the control room. Don't know. Over or under 205. Also, over or under 4.5 total sacks in the game. Combined. That's combined. 4.5 total sacks in the game. Over or under 4.5 total sacks. These are 2 tough quarterbacks to sack. And then finally, so each one of these are easy to pick. You don't have to do math or anything else. Over or under 4.5 sacks. Over or under 2.5 minutes. Or 2 minutes and 5 seconds. 2 minutes and 5 seconds for the national anthem. Heads or tails. And finally, will the Chiefs trail at any time and come back to win the game? Yes or no? That easy. Will the Chiefs trail at any point during the game and then come back and win the game? Yes or no? Now, I prefer to look forward and not backward, but we did miss the entire week since the championship games. So I need to get a couple of quick thoughts out of my brain right now. The biggest controversy that came out of championship games, of course, was in the Chiefs-Bills game, as it always seems to be with the Chiefs. The issue of the spot on the ball on the Bills drive with 13 minutes to go in the game. Has everyone talking about the fix being in? 13 minutes to go in the game. Already a week later. I know what a lot of you think. You're like, oh, that was the Bills' last drive, right? That was a chance. We're going to go down and win the game. It was 13 minutes to go, and it was the beginning of the fourth quarter when that happened. I know in our minds we automatically think, well, the Bills got screwed and they would have gone down and they'd have won the game. It was 13 minutes to go in the game when that happened. And everyone is talking about the fix being in. That's scripted. The NFL's rigged. It's fixed. The reality is, it seems like Buffalo actually had the first down on third down on that pass to Kincaid in the flat. I mean, he had the first down. He was over the 40-yard. He had the first down then. Then it seemed like Josh Allen had it on the sneak. And in fact, 2 other times, once on a James Cook run and an Amari Cooper reception, it seemed like the Bills got the shaft on the spot. Jim Nantz kept saying, well, there's 10 yards, there's 11 yards, and then it would be like 9. But here's the thing. This is not an issue of the fix being in. This is an issue of simple incompetence and a lack of using the available technology. Now, they experimented with the chip in the ball in the preseason. Everybody said, well, why can't they put a chip in the ball? They do. They experimented with that. In the preseason, they experimented with that. But there were still a few issues with it because the chip doesn't tell you when forward progress stopped, right? The chip doesn't tell you if the runner's knee is down, right? It doesn't tell you if the knee was down. What all the chip tells you is the final destination of the ball. On that play in the flat to Kincaid, for example, does his knee hit and the ball is short of the 40-yard line? Well, you would go back, you'd stop it there, and the chip would tell you where the ball is at that point. But they're going to get there. It might be next year. They played with it in the preseason. You know there's a chip in the ball now. Everybody's like, oh, put a chip in the ball. There is a chip in the ball. All of the balls have a chip in them already. It's a chip in the ball. There's a chip in the shoulder pads of the player. How do you think they get the AWS stats and how fast the guy ran 22 miles an hour down the sideline? Okay, fine. Because they got a chip in their shoulder pads. So they've got that stuff. The point isn't about the technology. The point is that in a $20 billion a year industry, we shouldn't have part-timers officiating the games. Guys waddling in from the sidelines like a drunken sailor. Some 54-year-old dude with a boiler that's worrying about whether or not when he gets back to the school, he's got to suspend little Johnny for getting in a fight in the hallway because he's the principal at the school. Or some dude that's wondering whether or not he's got to get Mabel her insurance check because he's an insurance man. He's thinking about that. Officials should be young and in shape. And by young, I mean they should age out about when players age out. Like a 45-year-old official should be an old dude. That would be like an old dude. And it should be a full-time job. Well, I can't give up my job as an attorney where I make $1 million a year to, be an official. Officiating in the NFL should be a reasonable salary. Baseball umpires make $250,000 to $350,000 a year, whatever it is. I know they go. I get it. 162 games. I get it. But there's a lot of officiating that can be done. These guys should be officiating a game on Sunday. Then they should be looking at film on Monday, just like the players do, or have Monday off and look at they look at film on Monday. Then Tuesday they get the day off, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday they should be at practice, officiating every aspect of practice, one-on-one drills, offensive line versus defensive line. Hey, by the way, that's holding. Help them. It would be a better game. Well, not all the officials live near an NFL city. Well, then move to an NFL city because it's a full-time job. You don't have a God-given right to be an official. If you are an official in the NFL, you live in an NFL city where you work. And you go to practice and you're there for everything they're doing in practice. And when they're not, you're working out just like they work out. And you're looking at film and you're going studying and you're studying the teams in the game that you have coming up. And I know a lot of officials, they do some of that stuff. And certainly some of the referees work out. They got the gun show going. I get that. But it should be a full-time job. They should be young. They should be in shape. And it should be their only gig. And if you got less than 10 years experience, you officiate in the spring leagues or the arena leagues where things happen fast. So you're sharp all the time. And you don't come in and drift 2.5 yards as you're coming in from the sideline. Right? Hey, oh wait, there's a guy. I got to go around the guy. Let's see. I was over the 40-yard line when I started coming in to mark the ball. I got my hand in the air. No, I'm not doing Heil Hitler. But I do have my hand in the air. Now every time you stick your hand in the air, somebody says you're doing Heil Hitler. I'm not saluting Hitler. I'm saying dead ball. It's got my hand in the air. I'm running in from the sideline. I'm at the 40-yard line. Oh, I got to go around the player. I go around the player. Now I'm at the 39-yard line. But the fact remains, the game was 22-21 Buffalo at the time. It happened with 12:55 to go in the game. It was not the final drive of the game. Both teams scored touchdowns after that, and it was tied at 29 before the Chiefs went down and got the winning field goal. The game is not rigged. As for all these clowns saying that they're going to boycott the Super Bowl, okay, fine. These Bills fans, Bills Mafia, Rochester, we're boycotting the game. Oh, it's going to have an impact. We're boycotting. Let me tell you what's going to happen. The game is going to have record audience, not a record. It won't have a record share because we don't do that anymore because it used to be 3 channels on no options and it'd be like 60% of people watching the game. But it will have a record audience because there's more people around now. It'll be like 120 million people. You watch, it'll have a record audience. It's a tremendous matchup. It's a rematch of a great game 2 years ago, and history is on the line. It's a great game. All right, back at Mission Control. Playing the Play Doesn't Matter and the stacks of wax, looking for the NFL music in the new computers. Not in the little room with the slanted glass, still without a window. It's Jumpin' Joe Hung.
Do you know who I am?
No, who this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
And show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that line.
Go on the other side of that massive window in that massive control room with that massive table. How does that feel, Joe? Just kind of like all spread out, even though it's not done yet. I mean, can you get a feel for what it's going to be like when it's all finished?
Oh, it's going to be amazing when it's all finished. I mean, I even have a TV in front of me right now. Like it's actually
TV.
I feel a little bit more professional than what I did a week ago. It's kind of nice.
I'll tell you what you are doing is blowing my ears up a little bit there. I don't know. You're pretty hot there on that mic. We got to get everything adjusted still. You know what I mean? We're still kind of playing with everything, getting everything adjusted. But Joe, you could end up with 2 or 3 guys in there if you needed to, right? I mean, if it came to it and we got to the point where we had the guy answer the phone, a guy working on the video side of things. I mean, literally, we could have 2 or 3 guys in there.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. I'd also enjoy one for the Blitz would be really cool. That would also be awesome to have one that can run.
No, yeah, I mean, all the shows I'm talking about.
Before we get the 3rd and 4th guy for Tom's show, I'd just like to have one for us.
A second guy would be good. That would be nice.
Also, I think all of the NFL music has been deleted, and I think it is time to put that dead dog to rest.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's something we're not able to find. It's lost.
You got your fight songs?
No, dead dog. All Friday football music is done. We're going to update with what we hear now in stadiums, which is good stuff.
Yeah. Well, on the Thom Abraham show. As has been the tradition for 20 years, we will have football music on Football Friday. I can tell you that right now. We've figured it out, but we'll have football music on Football Friday. We're going to do it. I mean, we ain't changing that. That's like getting rid of, can't get rid of that. I mean, that would be like changing everything. I can't take all this shit. By the way, where are you? How come I can't see you?
Because right now we're trying to do like 4 different things as we're doing this right now. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Yeah.
I know we had like a phone technician show. We got everybody. We have engineers and technicians and PDs and everybody doing all kinds of stuff.
We've been trying to figure out what things are good to chunk right now. What things are, we're moving a lot of this stuff around. So it's been a lot of stuff, and we got to clean right after we're done with this show, and then we got hockey tonight.
Oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a little hectic.
Yeah, still got some work to do at the old place. Yeah, we got to empty that joint out and all of that kind of stuff. So it's nuts, but at least we're on the air, which is a good thing. And the phone lines work. So go ahead. We'll take a break. Go ahead and open up these phone lines, 256-576-4977. Go ahead and line it up. We have got your TriFECTA for you here. Things are very, very tight, and we got a lot of points on the line here for you, and you got an excellent opportunity to win that ice suite from TOC. So when we return, your calls are next. It's the Thom Abraham Show. It's Football Friday. Back with more in a moment.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the Big Zone Deal store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, an overnight stay at Gunnersville State Park, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Nice job, Joe. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. He had me breaking out into a cold sweat. Some of the listeners, too. You lit up the text window. Chubby Ninja went nuts. Absolutely not, Joe. Football music stays on a Friday to Chubby Ninja. Well, look, Chubby Ninja, there it is. Joe's hitting you. Joe got you with some good football music there, so that's a good job by him, that's for sure. And from the X feed, Think Hod. It says, Think Hod. The Thom Abraham Show is back. Who's Hod? I don't know. Chris posted that. But
God's brother.
Oh, is somebody related to God? We're thinking Hod. We're thinking hot. Well, it's a good job by him as well. This segment of the show is brought to you by Owen Home Appliance. You know, it's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. And if you're sick and tired of that washing machine making all those crazy noise or having to dry a load 2 or 3 times to get it right, this is the time to get down to Owen Home Appliance Center for a new washer and dryer. You can pick from brands like Maytag and GE and Whirlpool and Electrolux and, of course, Speed Queen. And they got the 2-in-1 GE profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. So you can check out that as well. Check out the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can watch the washers or where you can try the washers and dryers on your own. It's Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name. Owen Home Appliance Center. All right, phone lines are open. You want to jump on board, you can do it. Our first call to the Thom Abraham Show with the new studios and control room is Johnny on a cell. Johnny, welcome in. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
This isn't Johnny.
Okay. It
It's
sounds
Wolverine
like
Dan, man.
it sounds like Wolverine Dan. All right, my call screen says Johnny on a cell, but maybe
Person I
missed
talked
up,
to a minute ago said that too.
Oh, really? Okay. All right, Wolverine. What are you doing? Can you stop doing whatever you're doing? You sound like you're.
No,
what are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I got a little cabin fever. Also dealing with all that benefits I get. They cut a little piece of the pie. I don't like it. So I call them
really?
if I can get my piece back, okay?
All right.
So you know how that is. The government work. You gotta have a little piece of the pie.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. We're there to pay it for you. Make sure that you get all your pension money. I sound like you're in the back of a room somewhere. You got me on a speakerphone or something?
No, I'm in my work stuff. You know what I'm doing, bro?
Okay.
I'm doing inventory on my golf. I got a couple golf bags. I got a new bag coming in thanks to Badger Larry. That got me going. It's a red, white, and blue. And when Tim plays, you can ask, well, how about the new bag? I said it's red, white, and blue in honor of Donald Trump.
Now, where is Badger Larry? Isn't he? He's skiing somewhere in Colorado or something, isn't he?
He's on the Bunny Hills. He's on the Bunny Hills doing his thing.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, listen, hey, guess what, Tom? I finally did it. I went to the driving range and I picked me up a Ping Driver G430. In this
430cc driver. I mean, you said driver. It's a sizable Volkswagen or what?
No, it's a lightweight for seniors. So he gave me 12 balls in a little bucket. And he says, go hit this club. I was going to buy a Callaway. And he said, try this club. So I went out there. I teed it up 12 times right down the middle.
Nice.
And crushed it. Every time, Tom. Every time.
All right. Good stuff.
So,
a guy at church last night asked me to play with him in a golf tournament on April 25th. I didn't want to tell him I haven't played since April of last year. But every year I say this, but I have all new woods as well, and I've got to get out and play. This year I got to play more. Again, my problem always is I have a very limited amount of time that is like free time to recreate. I don't know why. I'm 64 years old. I should have all kinds of time, but I have a little of time. And if it comes down to it, I would rather go fishing than golfing because I'd rather not catch fish than play bad golf. A bad day on the water is better than a bad day on a golf course for me. So I'm committed this year to get back out on the golf course.
Yeah, no, you better commit right now to play with us because you said that last year you didn't play.
I know. We're going to do it. We got to do it. But who are we kicking out of the group, though? If I play with you and Badger Larry and Brad, you got to kick somebody out of the group.
No, that's four. They've foursome.
Oh, I thought you already had a fourth guy. I thought you had some other dude.
No. I got Sam and Brad. I got Badger Larry, you, and me.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're saving a spot for me. Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this trifecta because
all right, here we go.
About, go ahead.
Are you ready? Coin toss: heads or tails?
Let's go heads.
Over or under 2 minutes and Joe, who's singing the national anthem? Do you know? At the Super Bowl. I don't know if we know.
Some guy named like John Batista or Batiste or Bautista or Botafuco. I don't know.
The fighter? Batista? Not that guy?
No, he'd probably be better. I have no clue who this guy is. I have no idea. I looked him up for you.
And you're tragically hip, Joe. Joe's only like 40. And
it's a guy that's kind of like John Legend from what I'm seeing.
If you don't know, who knows? I mean, that's crazy. And you worked in the music business for a lot of years, and you don't even know who he is. All right. Over or under 2 minutes and 5 seconds?
I'll go with under because Botafuca's probably got somebody got a hit on him. He probably wants to get out of that open line of fire.
It's Batista, not Botafuco. Over or under 4.5 sacks in the game combined?
I want to say under. Those guys move a lot.
Will the Chiefs trail and come from behind to win at some point in the game? Will they trail any time in the game? I don't care if it's 3-0 in the first quarter. Will the Chiefs trail during the game and then come back to win the game?
So if this is the last factor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and right after this factor, I got one real quick thing I want to. I kind of wrote it out. I want to say it anyway. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Will trail one time, and it's fixed. Kansas City wins. It's fixed.
Okay.
It's fixed.
All right. So he says it's fixed.
It's
All right. So what's
So,
your last thought?
Patrick Mahomes, he's full of baloney, like an Oscar Mayer hot dog, sideline flopper. That's why he's going to get it. They're going to give it to him because he's a flopper. It's rigged. Tom, it's rigged.
It's not rigged.
It's
not rigged.
They want to change. They want to change the name of the trophy of the Lombardi Trophy to the Brady Trophy, and I say you do it.
If it was rigged, then we would have the Bills and the Lions. Because if it was the Bills and the Lions, there 200 million people would watch the Super Bowl. I mean, it would be off the chart. If it was rigged, they would go with the Bills and the Lions for drama. They wouldn't go with the with the Chiefs and the Eagles in a rematch. They wouldn't.
Yeah, well, you'll see. He'll win his third. You watch. But
All
guess
right.
what? You got 4 more to win, brother. You're not going to be the GOAT. You might be the you could be like a mini GOAT, maybe. All right. See you later.
Yeah, appreciate you. Joe, it's not rigged, okay? I mean, we got to get off the rigged bandwagon.
So how many employees work for just one NFL team?
The employees outside of the
I mean,
players,
players,
and everything else,
employees, everybody.
Probably players, employees, and everybody. There's probably 150 people that work for an NFL.
So 150 people probably work for an NFL team, and so all 150 of those people are staying quiet and being in on it, and that's just one
Times
NFL
30
team.
Times 32.
Right. And because we know that there's no players in the NFL that are emotional and like to lash out when things don't go their way.
Right.
They wouldn't be like, yo, here's the script. Like, I thought this was being, we went through the read. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Or fans. And how about the fans that are saying they're going to boycott the Super Bowl? We're like, okay.
Or drunk buddies that go over to these players' houses and they're like, oh, look, there's your playbook. And oh, look, there's the script.
Well, here's the thing I don't understand. All right, I get the Chiefs fatigue a little bit. I get it. But this is not the Patriots of the 2000s. Didn't we have Patriots fatigue? They went to, 9 Super Bowls, something like that? This is not the Patriots of the 2000s. How do you paint this team as villains? Now, go back to the Patriots. The Patriots became villains. Now, remember, when New England beat the Rams after 9/11 for their first Super Bowl win, a lot of people thought, oh, Patriots, I'm sure the Patriots win. That Super Bowl was rigged for the Patriots to win because they were big underdogs in that game. And when they won that game, they were the darlings of the sports world. I mean, it was the Patriots, for goodness sake. And remember, U2 played Beautiful Day while the names of the victims scrolled behind them. Joe, I've seen them all. Okay, I was like 6 years old at the first Super Bowl. I don't remember the first 3. I start remembering them at 4. I remember crying after Super Bowl 3 because I was an NFL guy. You know, even then at 8 years old, I was like an NFL. I was a conservative NFL dude, an establishment guy. And when the Jets beat the Colts, I thought the world was coming to an end. But having said that, I seen them all. That halftime, and you were 20 years old probably at that point in time, or 18, 17 years old maybe?
You talking about the 9/11 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 17. I was a senior in high school.
You two playing Beautiful Day while the names of all of the victims scrolled behind them, that was the best halftime show ever. To me, that was the best halftime show ever. The most memorable halftime show ever. Not Michael Jackson, not wardrobe malfunction, not Bruno Mars, who I really like. Certainly not Beyonce, who was vile and vulgar. That one. That was the best halftime show ever, in my opinion. So that was in 2002 after 9/11. That was the delayed Super Bowl was delayed a week or so every day. But they became hated. Tom Brady and his model wife, and he already had a kid with a different model that he didn't marry, and he had his model wife who was a Brazilian. Okay, Deflategate, Spygate, the cheating, Aaron Hernandez, the murderer that was a tight end on that team, Grumpy Bill Belichick, not to mention the owner 79-year-old Robert Kraft, who, after remember the emotional passing of his wife and the players, as he put his head on the players' shoulders and cried during the service for his wife who had passed away, who everybody loved his wife. And a year later, he's caught on camera getting a happy ending at a massage parlor before the Super Bowl in 2019. I mean, those guys you hate. That's a team that you hate. We hated them. But Mahomes? What is there to hate about Patrick Mahomes? Travis Kelce, an America's sweetheart? I mean, really? Do we hate? Look, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan in any way. I don't listen to her music. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. All right? But Travis Kelce, what's the dislike about Travis Kelce? Andy Reid? Big, fluffy, lovable Andy Reid who does the goofy commercials for Allstate. What's it? The Fumblerooski. We can't hate on that guy. He's not Bill Belichick. He's Andy Reid. Clark Hunt, the owner of the Hunt family that founded the AFL. I mean, really, what's the hate there, Joe? I mean, what do you hate? The Chiefs are not like the Patriots had a lot of things to hate. What do we hate about the Chiefs?
I think this is a personal thing more than anything else. Just me personally thinking that. Yeah, again, you're talking to a guy that likes the team. So there's no, I mean, if anything, again, I would much rather have seen Josh Allen's girlfriend / fiance a lot more than Taylor Swift, but I would absolutely, there's nothing to argue with them. There's nothing for me to hate. It's actually impressive.
So
I got to this point that like with Jordan, with LeBron, with Tom Brady, like stop hating the GOATs. Cause what's going to happen is that when they leave, you're going to sit there and be like, oh man, like I kind of miss these guys. So enjoy them while they're here.
So will you agree with me then that Travis Kelce could do better than Taylor Swift? I don't think she's all that in a bag of chips. I'll be honest with you.
Again, but I also think that the person you see in the media is not the person that she really is.
Probably not.
I think that is 100% a front.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know. I mean, I had dinner with her dad once in a green room before the Jeff Fisher roast, and he seemed very genuine, and he talked about her being 12 and 13 years old and writing songs in her room and things like that. I think she is a genius. I think she's a musical genius, but I'll agree with you. I think there's a certain amount of a front there as well. All right, so is Johnny back on a cell now, or what? Are we just calling everybody Johnny on a cell?
No.
Okay.
Everybody's Johnny on a cell.
Everybody's on a Johnny on a cell. Johnny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, big dog. All right, so a couple of things. The reason everybody hates the Chiefs is that they carry a 2-to-1 advantage in penalties. I mean, Mahomes has been called for 7 roughing the passers to 1 by the Chiefs against the opposition. They hate the fact that they get a 2-to-1 advantage in penalties in the last 7 playoff games. They hate the fact.
But might that be because they're good, Johnny?
Could get reviewed, even close calls that get reviewed when a ball is laying on the ground goes in favor of the Chiefs. That's what everybody hates about the Chiefs.
I will agree. The Chiefs do get some calls. There's no doubt about it that like that catch was not a catch or ball hit the ground, all that kind of stuff. But because a team has less penalties, is that something that's automatically on the officials, or might it be that the team is a disciplined team that doesn't cause a lot of penalties?
No, you cannot.
So everybody should have the same number of penalties?
You can sneeze on Mahomes and get a penalty.
I agree with that.
I agree with that. My God,
I agree with that.
those 2 hits they got from Houston, one of them was a tap. The other one, you can't get that, Big John.
No, the other one wasn't even, the other one, they didn't even hit them. They hit each other. They didn't even hit them on the slide. I agree with that. I'll agree with that.
They get the benefit of every call and even the replays. There were several opportunities that you could have done the straight over the top of the line call, and you could see where Allen got the first down, and he had a bad spot on 3rd down.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Bills fan. I actually was pulling for the Ravens. I like the Dolphins. But the Chiefs get every freaking call known to man, and I hope Barkley runs all over their tail.
I am pulling for the Eagles. Yeah, I'm like Jason Kelce. I am pulling for the Eagles. They asked Jason Kelsey, they said, okay, what are you going to do now? He says, I'm pulling for my brother to have a good game, and I'm pulling for the Chiefs to win the game, or the Eagles to win the game.
And my last thing, I think it's time for college football to develop a gridiron ranking system, much like college basketball uses net ranking, because you have to take in strength of schedule. I mean, you're about to see next year Texas and Ohio State play in game 1. Now, the loser of that game is going to be behind the 8 ball. You can play it either way. If Ohio State loses that game, then loses to Michigan in a thriller again, and then possibly loses to Oregon, you got a 3-loss Ohio State defending champion that probably played a much tougher schedule than the Boise States of the world that get in because of an automatic program. Now, I'm not wanting to take away the automatic bye, but even Oregon got screwed in the way that they put these programs in last year. I think the net ranking, you use it to rank the teams 1 through 12. You put your automatic qualifiers in. You put your 7 other teams by gridiron ranking,
and then seed them. Yeah, then seed them after the fact. Yeah, give them the automatic bid, but you don't give them an automatic top 4 bid. You give them the automatic bid, but then you seed them. Yeah, I agree. I think they'll get there.
They played a very hot Ohio State team as an 8 seed, and 5 through 8 beat 9 through 12 at home, and then turn around and took that momentum and beat 1 through 4 in the other game. So I think you either expand the playoffs to 16 or contract them to 8 and get rid of the bye week. The bye week did nothing for teams 1 through 4.
Yeah, no, they'll never contract it. So yeah, I am a fan of 16 and no buys. It's just let's go. I'm also a fan of let's get this thing started earlier so that it doesn't end like it does next year on January 25th. Now, the seeding is likely not going to change for next year. Do you know why the seeding won't change for next year? It'll change in 2026.
Contractually.
No, they can change it, but this particular season it just wrapped up, and next season any changes have to be approved by all 11 commissioners plus Notre Dame. So there has to be a consensus, and there's no way that those commissioners of the conferences that got to buy for being the 16th team in the country and you got to buy like Clemson and Arizona State. There's no way that they would vote for that. Now, after next year, beginning in 2026, all you need is a simple majority to change the rules. So 7 out of 12 changes the rules beginning in 2026. So if they wanted to change seeding next year, you'd have to get all 11 plus Notre Dame to agree. And there's no way those smaller conferences are going to agree to that.
All I'm saying, Big Dog, is that you have to have quad 1 rankings, quad 2 rankings, quad 3 rankings, and those have to be factored in. Just like basketball. I mean, you look at the SEC schools like Bama this year with a net ranking of like 3 and Auburn with a net ranking of 1. Those schools deserve 1 seed in the playoffs. Right. In football, if you go through an SEC schedule and you play 7 quad 1 games, and you're talking to a Big Ten school or an ACC school that played 2 quad 1 games, that is a much different. You can't judge those schedules on an even scale because they don't match up in strength and how tough a schedule was.
Well, that's why I use that's
playing 9 quad 1 games next year.
Right. That's why I use the Sagarin ratings. The Sagarin ratings are very similar to the net. So if you look at Sagarin ratings, that does that. All right, Johnny, did you want to get in on the picks, or are going to let cut you free?
Give me the pick.
All right, heads or tails?
Tails.
Over or under 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the national anthem?
Over.
Over or under 4.5 sacks combined in the game?
Under.
And will the Chiefs trail at any point and then win the game?
They're going to trail, but they're not winning the game unless the referees help them.
So no would be the answer there. All right, we got you in, Johnny. Good job by you. Appreciate it. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. Final segment of hour number 1 next. It's the Thom Abraham Show. Back with more in a moment.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Jacksonville State over FIU 71-67 yesterday, but the Gamecocks did not cover as 6.5-point favorites. That number was bet down from 9 points, and the Gamecocks win by 4. Louisiana Monroe with a 62-58 win at South Alabama. The Warhawks with a 15.5-point road underdog. NASCAR's official start to the season is the Daytona 500, but the unofficial start coming up Sunday night at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's the Cookout Clash. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, the plus 750 co-favorites. Joey Logano plus 850. Chase Briscoe is 9-1. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Are you trying to find a new house? Are you trying to find the right loan, the right people to do your loan? Look no further than the Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green. John Kendall, the Vice President of Mortgage with me. John, when they need a loan, and I say they, when people need a loan, it's about them.
That's right, Scott. Our whole motto is it's all about you. We're going to be okay. You're the one making the investment. We want to make sure that you're taken care of.
How do they find you?
Give us a call at 256-507-9180, or they can catch us online at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green, where they take the home loan to you and they make it all about you. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDI insured bank, as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers will be possible for this Thursday night. Low temperatures going to be falling into the upper 50s for the overnight. We could also potentially see wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Heading into our Friday, scattered showers and a few thunderstorms going to be possible. High temperatures topping out in the low 60s for the day. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
But that trick never worked.
Welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. I got time to get Seth in? Let me see if I can get Seth in here quick. Seth, welcome to the show. How are you?
All right, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic.
I just want to bring something to your attention. You're talking about the Chiefs and Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. You ever notice, Travis and Taylor, whether it be on social media posts or even post game, they're always, feely, touchy, huggy, kissy, which is fine. But you never notice Patrick and Brittany being like that.
I did notice that.
You know
yeah,
why?
they don't see her a lot. Why?
Because Brittany knows that it's going to be automatic 15 yards in the first down.
Oh, good job by you.
I was just going to get in on the TriFECTA there.
Heads or tails?
To go with tails.
Over or under 2 minutes and 5 seconds?
Under.
Over or under 4.5 sacks total?
Over.
And will the Chiefs ever trail and come back to win?
Nope. They may trail, but if they come back to win, like the last guy said, I think it's the rest.
All right, man. Appreciate you. It's a good job by you.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
So, Joe, Mahomes' wife has to sleep in the other room because every time she touches him, it's 15 yards. I like that. That's pretty funny. All right, when we come back, Steve Merril joins us from Wager Talk TV on the Tom Abraham Show.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood One.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans. Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a third consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama. And we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
Look, I don't speak Spanish. I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. You know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elmer McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Yeah, that's my
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show here on a Football Friday in the Doghouse. This segment of the show is brought to you by the award-winning service department at Woody Anderson Ford. Not only can they take care of routine checkups for you on your Ford or other brand, but if you have a bigger problem, they've got expert service technicians who can quickly diagnose it and use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. Their services include things like preventative maintenance, of course, on belts and hoses and fluids, but also air conditioner work, brake work, tranny repair, a wonderful body shop as well. And they've got the mobile service where they come out to you. That's right. That's Woody Anderson Ford. They even have, of course, those of you that can't get in, except for on a weekend or at night, they got the quick lane service department for your one-stop shop for things like brakes and tires and batteries and so on. So no matter what the service your Ford needs or your other model needs, Woody Anderson Ford ensures quick and professional, exceptional service. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com to learn more about that. That's WoodyAndersonFord.com. Great sponsors of the show. They have been for years and years. We appreciate them so much. All right, we are efforting Steve Merril. He should be joining us here momentarily, side by each. Now, Joe, I wouldn't imagine that any of the changes or anything that we've done would have impacted that, right? As far as him getting in, because he's usually pretty punctual.
No, it's all good. Yeah, no, I've sent the emails, sent them to the normal email addresses, do every bit of that. Okay. Yep, everything there should be good.
I don't understand all the technology. I have like little thoughts in my head of things. I understand like just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to really know, you know? So, you know, I hear these things, and every time you switch some kind of technology or do what we've done, which is really completely rebuild a control room in a studio, you wonder where the gremlins are, you know what I mean? And where the problems are. And in reality, Joe, as much work as all of you guys have done, you know, we did a lot of work to move stuff in there and did a lot of that last Saturday and Monday. But as much work as you guys have done during the week to get things up and the new TVs and cameras that are going up and all that kind of stuff, it's really gone relatively smooth, right? I mean, you'd have to say for the most part, it's really been pretty smooth.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it just had to do with, hey, we need to go get an extender for a USB cable. Hey, we need to go and get these mounts. Some of this is, hey, we need you to stand up on this table and get into the roof. Like, those things. There's no big deal.
I saw the mounts for the cameras in the studio. Are the cameras actually up in the studio now, or just the mounts are? So all installed and everything.
Yeah, everything that we the morning show as well as the blitz for us, all those were the new cameras that we had installed yesterday.
I watched you guys a little bit on the blitz. You looked really good. I mean, that was good. And we're going to have some really cool backdrop stuff. We're just using the pop-ups and things like that now, but we'll have some real neat things going on in the studio. So this is going to be one of them things where just check back daily, and every day it's going to get a little bit better and a little bit better. And we're really stoked about that. We're also stoked about Steve Merril from Wager Talk TV joining us as he does every week. And he joins us now right here on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline. Steve, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Tom, doing well.
All right, so let's get into a number of things, and I want to talk about some of the fun props and all of that kind of stuff. But, a disturbing story popping up once again in the world of sports betting, and this is the Terry Rozier story going back to his time with the Charlotte Hornets. What do you know about that story? And in terms of, this is similar to the Porter deal. The only thing is Rozier's a $100 million star. He has a big contract versus the other guy who was a low-ranking guy. Sounds like it was about player props and things like that. But the heavy, big-time investigation going on from the NBA on that one.
Yeah, actually, some people texted me about it yesterday, and I actually didn't really even look into it. But, I did glance at it. And, once again, the first reaction for me is it's insane with as much money as these pros make that they would do something like this. But a lot of times, I don't know in this case if it's an addiction, if it's a sickness, or if he's trying to help out his buddies. Porter, obviously, Porter was making very little compared to some stars. I think Rozier was at the end of his career when this happened as well. But still, player props, as the limits are so low on these. That's the first thing I keep thinking. Most books will only let you play a couple $1,000s on a player prop. So, you're literally risking jail time and $1 million contracts to make an extra $5,000. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It goes back to 2023, and they don't know whether he hasn't been charged with anything. That the investigation is going on. According to the story, it says that the betting on Rozier was strange enough that day to raise alarms at the U.S. Integrity, a firm that works with sports entities, gambling operations, and government agencies to monitor betting markets for suspicious activity. And there were unusual wagers that were coming in on Rozier failing to meet certain statistical benchmarks, such as the total number of points or rebounds that he would record in the game. And then during, right before the game, some of the sports books stopped accepting bets on Rozier's stats that day. So there was an idea that there was something up. Now, the naysayers say, oh, see, this is the problem. See what's happening? To me, I look at it and say, this is a good thing.
Right.
This probably was going on all along. And now that it's legal, we've got this sports integrity committee that's looking for stuff like this. And I think that this is something that's going to be really positive so that you're getting a clean game.
100% correct. And that's my big takeaway as well, is that you want something like this because once every 3 years when it happens briefly, it prevents another 10 guys from probably trying it. And let's look at the alternative for the last 50 years is that this was going on probably 10 times more for two reasons. First of all, we didn't have any kind of integrity, and everything with data now is so much more readily available than it was in the 80s and 90s. You can find it. Plus, do you think an illegal bookmaker in New York City is going to call the NBA and say, look, I'm taking some illegal bets and I've got some funny action right now? So, once again, the sports books are the last people that want this to happen. And I use the same, I bet you there's been a lot more insider trading within the financial markets over the last decade than there's been any kind of corruption in sports. Is there any talk about shutting down the stock exchange? Of course not. But this is a scare thing. And once again, just because one person has a gambling problem or one person does something corrupt doesn't mean you shut it down for the other 99.99% of, people around the world that use sports betting responsibly. But yeah, this is a good thing. You want transparency. And that's been my argument for decades about legalizing it. Is that it puts this stuff in the forefront. By the way, Rozier's in the middle of a $96 million contract. So once again, explain to me how this would make any sense. Unless they've got his kids hostage or something. My guess, I don't know. My guess would be, sometimes they're maybe not 100%. They're not healthy, so they tell. I think that was what happened with the Porter situation. He knew he wasn't going to play his full minutes maybe, and he's trying to help out his buddies make some scratch change. But once again, pretty naive. I will say this, Tom, if you're ever going to worry about anything, it's still officials, which we've seen happen, and it's college sports. And look, I didn't think states should ban betting on their in-state schools, but I will say it probably does add another layer of protection to make it harder for athletes, at a low-level college basketball team to do something. Now, most states don't have props allowed, and most sports books aren't going to put them up on college kids anyway in basketball because it's just too much, variety, and there's just too much inside information. But, yeah, the NBA doesn't make any sense to me. These guys make too much money.
Well, in the Jonte Porter case, now he was on the league minimum. He ends up getting banned for life, and he is criminally charged. He's facing up to 20 years in prison. He'll be sentenced in May. So, you would think stuff like that would, kind of give pause to these guys when they hear that somebody needs to go to jail. You know what I mean? If a player goes to jail like that for some period of time, the thing with Terry Rozier is just like you say, this is not some scrub that's sitting at the end of the bench playing 3 minutes a night. This is a guy, this is a like you say, $100 million player. So we'll see what happens here and what happens with it. The one thing that I did not know, and that I noted, that the sports books now no longer will do prop bets on NBA players that are end of the bench guys. It says, according to the story, sportsbooks now no longer offer player props for lowest paid players in the NBA in an attempt to prevent similar situations from the one that involved Porter. So that's kind of interesting that they've adjusted on that,
Right. Well, and I've never understood why they did it in the first place, and shame on the sports books. Once again, they don't want this kind of stuff to happen. But then again, that's why they don't take props on like Division II basketball games, right? Or like small conference basketball games, because they don't know everything. And somebody in the local city is going to have more information. It's legit information, right? When a guy's hurt or injured or something. It never made any sense to me why you would put props up on the lower end guys. Because first of all, their minutes vary tremendously. And the key to props is knowing how much a guy's going to play. It really is that simple. The statistical stuff all correlates to how many minutes he's on the court. And there again, Porter's situation, I think, went back a little bit when he was going to play, or he faked an injury, came out early. Once again, that's a great way to hit your under props, just not to be on the court. It made no sense why these guys were ever on the betting rotation, and sportsbooks took a little bit of a hit, and now they've corrected. So once again, it fixes itself. And I will say real quickly, they're going to make an example of Porter, and I fully get that, right? Because he wasn't a star. It wasn't like it was Shohei Ohtani, who maybe did something as well. But I really don't understand how you could say a guy gets jail time for this. I mean, I guess it's corruption or it's fraud or it's, I don't know. But, that's, for me, that's kind of borderline, because you have a right to go out there and play as poorly as you want to play, in my opinion.
Yeah. I suppose that is right. And, of course, we had the case in Alabama, college baseball of all things, where Brad Bohannon, who was the who was the coach of Alabama baseball. For those that don't remember the story, he alerted a buddy of his back in Ohio that the Crimson Tide pitcher, Luke Holman, who was the ace of the staff, wasn't going to pitch in the game against LSU because of back tightness. And the gambler tried to attempt to bet $100,000 on LSU, was limited to betting $15,000, tried to place additional bets. And then in the sports books, alerted everybody, this is weird. Nobody bets $100,000 on a college baseball game. Bohannon ends up getting fired and has a 15-year show cause penalty. He'll never coach again. And you wonder about something like that. Here's a guy that throws away his entire career by telling somebody that's a buddy of his, hey, by the way, my ace pitcher's not going tonight. And the guy tries to make money off of that.
Yeah, and then look, put yourself in his situation, right? It's like he didn't do anything to affect the game. This was something he knew it was already going to happen, and it didn't change the outcome of the game one way or the other. And he probably told his buddy, and you could see how something like that would happen. But they're going to make an example of people like that. But once again, nothing illegal, right? It's nothing illegal saying somebody's hurt. And it's nothing illegal to put the bets. What's funny about that situation, though, is that's not a sure thing. It's like they could still win without him. And that's what always cracks me up about all the point shaving and fixing. Like in basketball, it's possible because one or two guys really control 50% of the game. But in football, it's so difficult. You've got 22 guys on the field. And yes, the quarterback, can make a difference. But that's why the player props are interesting, because a player prop is really a situation where one guy can control what he does basically to the under, right? By just playing poorly or not playing at all.
Right.
But all these other things have a lot of variables in them, including that LSU story.
Well, and the thing is, according to the story, he told his buddy that Holman wasn't pitching in the game before he told LSU. I didn't know you had to tell the opponent. You know what I mean? I don't know that was something that you necessarily had to say. Yes, he was listed as the starter, and then you go out to take the bump with somebody else, and it's like, he got tight before, warming up, and he was back tightened up. I didn't know you had to alert the opponent that, hey, we're changing starting pitchers before the game actually starts. But apparently you need to do that, when you turn in the lineup.
Well, and Tom, I'll say real quick too, you check the Wager Talk live odds, or like oddslogic.com is real-time odds. And by the way, you can try 7 days free at oddslogic.com/SM. I mentioned that last week, but you will see the sharpest books around the world. You'll see that steam move, especially in the NBA, when they receive word that a guy is out, right? And there's nothing wrong with front running the betting market with that information. So there's such a fine line. And you definitely don't have to tell your opponent when somebody's hurt. I mean, I think that's an edge. What's funny to me about trying to bet 100,000 is, like you said, that's a huge red flag. I mean, it's like you almost want to get caught doing that. And then on top of that, it doesn't mean the team can't still win without their top pitcher. It just means you're getting a better price. And I seriously doubt that was worth 100,000. I mean, what percentage of bankroll would that be? Maybe it's a 10% play instead of a 5% play, but I doubt that guy was betting that kind of money normally.
Yeah, no, it's just not nobody bets that kind of money in college baseball. So I think that was one of the things that alerted those folks. Steve Merril with us, Wager Talk. All right, so this week we're doing our annual TriFECTA. We've got some fun props and so on that we're throwing out there. And, one of them is we always start out with the coin toss. Is the coin toss 50-50? Is there any edge in coin toss at all?
I've thought over the years maybe one side weighs more than the other, so maybe it's going to come down a little heavier or not. But no, I mean, it's 50-50. Some of the best offshore books, by the way, Tom, are offering -101 juice each way. So I think that kind of tells you all you need to know right now is that they don't think there's an edge, and they're taking a teeny little split just to make it worth their while. But no, but it's a fun bet, and I've always said you can win or lose before the game starts, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And that does get things started. And then, of course, there's the ever-popular national anthem. We don't even know this dude that's singing the national anthem.
Yeah, I don't either.
For my money, look, the gold standard is the Whitney Houston national anthem, which she lip-synced, all right, before the Bills and the Giants Super Bowl. Yeah, she did not sing that live.
I learn something every week with you. I learn the best content from you every week. I learned that they should bring the Redskins back, and I don't feel guilty about that. By the way, look, I don't know if you see in the back there, I got that banner hanging now. After you loved it so much last week, it's in the corner there. It's there it is. See, it's right near the fluffy football there. Yeah, I'm not afraid anymore because of the great information Tom Abraham gives me every week. But I didn't know that was lip sync. You're killing me with that one, man.
She lip synced that national anthem. She did not sing that live. She lip synced it, and that's the one that's kind of the gold standard. I thought that Chris Stapleton last year, for doing one live, I thought that was the best. I mean, I thought he was fantastic, but I'm a Chris Stapleton fan, so and a lot of people didn't know who he was either. So we don't know who this dude is, and a lot of people didn't know who Chris Stapleton was if you weren't a country music fan last year. But the over/under is 125 seconds, 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yeah.
In that, how much analysis has gone into that?
I don't even know who's singing. What's the guy's name? That's how much analysis I've put into that one so far.
Yeah, right.
No, I've loved this one for years. As you know, I've always had a lot of fun with it. And I actually have, over the years, I've actually found some betting opportunities. I've kind of steered away the last few seasons because I think it's gotten a little random. They do a pretty good job pricing. I mean, obviously, the first thing you go is you look back and you try to find YouTube clips of them singing at any kind of sporting event. But the thing to keep in mind about the Super Bowl, and I love how you just said it's 2 minutes, 5 seconds, basically 125, is that, as you know, Tom, everything is on a very tight to the second schedule with the Super Bowl. When you're talking about 30-second commercials that are worth millions, they're not going to let a dude go too long with the anthem, right? So I've always felt like that 2 minute mark is kind of the gold standard as far as the cutoff. And then, based if they're playing a piano, if they're, country singer versus pop star, can go a little long, a little less. I haven't looked into it yet, but that's just some stuff I've used over the years when handicapping it.
All right, here's a couple, from the game itself. 4.5 sacks is the total. At first, it feels a little bit low. These are two, mobile quarterbacks, so they are tough to nail down. But the over or under combined is 4.5 sacks on the game. What are you thinking?
One thing I'll point out about you're exactly right. You think, well, these guys aren't going to get sacked because they're mobile, right? It can work both ways, though, because when you're mobile and you're trying to scramble, if you get tackled behind the line of scrimmage, it's still a sack, I believe, correct? Even if it's, perceived as a rushing attempt. I would think the fours are pretty close. I do think both quarterbacks probably will avoid sacks well. So, once again, at 4.5, probably gets you leaning under because you'd have to have 5 or more to lose.
We didn't put it in ours, but this whole what color will the Gatorade thing be is another one that's a popular one that always gets a lot of run. And for some reason, purple is the favorite in this one. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if somebody's got the scoop on maybe the Chiefs use purple or whatever, but they're only a very, very slight favorite. So it's not like, but purple is the favorite right now. But that one always seems to have a lot of action.
Yeah, for several years, and I haven't done this yet, but, I have both games from last week still DVR'd. I'll go back and try to see what color the Gatorade was when they dumped them for the championship games. If you ever see the same color for both teams, it'd be a slam dunk. A lot of times they do dump water, though, keep in mind. So that gets a little tricky because sometimes it's not the Gatorade that they dump. Purple is very unusual, so I'm intrigued by that. That makes me think one of these teams probably uses purple or dumped it last week. And the other factor as well, it's a dome, so it won't be cold conditions. If this was like a New York game or something like they tried once, then you got to wonder, do you dare dump it on Andy Reid and give him a heart attack because he's a little up there in the age? That's a fun prop, but that is one you can handicap.
Now, I look for value sometimes on these yes/no ones, and I thought this was interesting. This year, kickoff returns were up by 17%. We had the most kickoff return for a touchdown since 2015, something like that. So with this new dynamic kickoff thing, it happens more now. I haven't gone back and looked at these two kickers and whether or not they're heavy on the touchback deal. But any kickoff return for a touchdown is plus 2,200. I mean, we've had a few of them in the Super Bowl, not a lot, but $2,200 return on a kickoff for a touchdown. That one seemed like a little bit of value there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times you can find, there'll be a special teams or defensive touchdown. So that's another way, Tom, that you can play that, and get a more realistic, opportunity. But I think 22-1 is a small little sprinkle, right? And have some fun with that. Yeah. We've definitely seen it happen. I mean, in fact, over the years, I've actually used the non-offensive touchdown props quite often for my clients in games. Now, we saw it more in the 90s, the 80s and 90s when we got blowouts, right? Because it just seemed like the games would get out of hands. And once again, with both Jalen Hurts and Mahomes not throwing a lot of interceptions, I think the defensive score is a little less likely in this game. So I would lean towards the 22-1 on maybe a kick return. It's just, is that a kick off, though? Obviously, the punt doesn't get you there. But you're exactly right. I just saw the numbers the other day about the increase in returns, yardage, everything with the new rule. And it got me flipped on this because I think it's the weirdest looking thing ever. I've hated it all season. But I'm a numbers guy, and the math definitely is showing that it's working and it's making the game better and safer. Injuries were down like 20% on top of that, by the way.
Yeah, a lot less. They had the same number of concussions, but they had an incredible more number of returns. I like it. I was already used to it a little bit because they were using it in the XFL. So
UFL or whatever, yeah.
Or the UFL. They were using it there. They don't use it. Ironically enough, they don't use it. It was the UFL that was doing it, and the X didn't. I don't know, whichever one it was. But ironically, last year, the first year of the combined spring league, they used the standard kickoff, and they will again this year. So they don't use it. They use the college kickoff. But I like it. And the only thing I would do is I'd back the kickoff guy up to the 30. They moved him up to the 35. So if you back him up to the 30, we'll get even more returns. That was I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of that.
Tom, I'll ask you this. What's the over-under when college starts doing it? 2 years?
That's a good question. I'm shocked that the college is still kicking extra points from the 2-yard line, that they didn't change that.
But it's a safety issue. And high school and college usually is on the forefront of safety. It's really unusual. Have you ever seen a time when the NFL does something first, it's safer? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And, I thought college would go to the narrow hashes, too. They did narrow them up some. So you got 3 sets of hashes. You got high school, then college a little narrower, then the NFL in the middle. And college never went. Remember, the college goalposts used to be wider. And now they use the same goalposts as the NFL. That they used to be like the high school goalposts are a little bit wider than the NFL goalposts. But they never moved the hashes in all the way. I thought they would do that. So they haven't moved the hashes in, and they haven't gone to the dynamic kickoff or the 33-yard extra point as well. So here's another unusual one. This is one that we have in the TriFECTA. Will the Chiefs ever trail in the game and then come back to win the game? Which is what they do, pretty much every game, it seems like. But you have to be on the Chiefs already, obviously, for that to happen. So will the Chiefs trail and then win the game?
What's the payoff on that, like at a sports book? Do you know? Obviously, it's plus money.
Let's see.
Maybe 2-1.
And then,
I mean,
it isn't even that. It isn't. Yeah. I don't
think it's going to be much because I think it's very possible either team could. In fact, I've got the numbers to back it. If you look over the last 8 Super Bowls,
plus 160. So
yeah, just to put it in perspective,
it's not as much as you think. Yeah.
Well, the last 8 Super Bowls, Tom, the halftime winner has lost the game 3 of the last 8. So even the team that's led at halftime hasn't won 3 of the last 8. And then you look at the team that scores first as well. A lot of times that doesn't correlate. So, yeah, I think it's definitely possible, especially in a very competitive game with a 1.5-point spread, that's not a bad way to play it probably. I mean, instead of laying minus money on the money line, you get a plus money price now on the Chiefs if you like them.
Now, here's one other one. We'll do one more. The last time when they played 2 years ago, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes combined for 114 yards rushing. So the question is over or under, or no, yes or no, will the two quarterbacks combine for 100 yards rushing? And the only thing that's different about this one is that you got to think a little bit about that knee with Jalen Hurts. I got to go back and look and see how many yards he rushed for against Washington, but whether the two quarterbacks will combine for over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, by the way, real quick, I just looked in 5 of the last 8 Super Bowls, the team that scored first did not win the game in 5 of the last 8. So that's another reason you might want to take a look at that in a competitive game. You hear 100 yards with 2 mobile quarterbacks, you're like, oh, that's an easy over. But then you start thinking Mahomes doesn't get to 50 normally, right? I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he's not the kind of guy it's going to. So that's really a Jalen Hurts prop. And I would think you'd probably be better off just playing Hurts rushing yards over. But these numbers are all going to be correlated, right? I guarantee if you find, Mahomes and you find Hurts' numbers and add them up, if that's an even money price on the 100, it's going to come pretty close. So, once again, with all these props, it's going to depend on how you think the game plays out. I do think it's a competitive game. The point spread says that as well. We've been getting a lot of competitive games. We got another overtime last year, second time in 8 years when we never had it in the first 50 years of the Super Bowl. But keep in mind, do we start factoring in the conspiracy theory? I'm not a big conspiracy guys, but there were some questionable calls in that Buffalo game, Tom. And I do say at this point, you probably are a little bit nervous playing the Eagles in a straight up win situation.
I am not going down that rat hole of conspiracy. Here's what it is. Incompetence. It's not conspiracy. It's incompetence. We have got, first of all, the technology is so good now. When we're watching it on TV, we see everything. And now we got a line. We didn't used to have a line out there on it where you can tell where the first down is supposed to be. But you got 2 side judges coming in. First of all, I thought that Kincaid had that on 3rd down, and it was 13 minutes to go in the game. It wasn't like the last drive of the game. But I thought Kincaid had gotten the first down on 3rd down, and Bills were in such a rush to do that tush-push thing that they didn't get a chance to really take a look at it because I think he already had the first down. But secondly, you got these 2 old dudes coming in from the side, waddling their way in. One guy starts ahead of the 40-yard line. Then he's got to go around the guy. Now he's behind the 40-yard line. It's a matter of incompetence. It's a $20 billion a year industry. Can we please have full-time officials who are athletes who do nothing but this, and they age out like players around 40, 45 years old. They age out of the game. I mean, that's what we need to be, not some dude that's a custodian at the high school that gets paid $3,000 to be a side judge in an NFL football game. I mean, it makes me nuts.
Tom, I know you've coached. You've been on sidelines for games, as I've had. I've worked chain gangs and stuff as well, like, high school, middle school level as a volunteer. And it always amazes me, especially at the lower level, like middle school, high school. It's random as can be. But there's a lot of variance in where they're spotting the ball. Like you just said, this isn't a mathematical equation. It's a judgment call, even at the NFL. When you got a bunch of people on top of it, they don't know exactly where that ball should be. And it's a game of inches, as we all know. And I think in the long run, that random variance favors you and it hurts you sometimes, right? But when it's a big call situation, it's going to sting a while. It's going to take a while for that to even out. But, yeah, you do wonder at some point, do they put some kind of chip in the ball or something where it hits the ground? Technology is so good now that you do have to wonder if that's going to change in the near future.
Well, they had the chip in the ball in the preseason. Well, the ball does have a chip in it, by the way. Yeah. All the balls do have a chip in them now. They had a chip in the ball during the preseason. They played with it. They chose not to do it this year. I think it's coming. The thing is, the chip in the ball isn't going to tell you where the guy's knee went down. Like if
Correct.
the guy say the final destination of the ball, but then you still have to look and see what was the knee down or forward progress. So there's still some arbitrary stuff in it. We just have to be better at officiating, because there were 4 total times where the Bills got screwed on spots. There's a James Cook run where he's clearly over the line, looked like an 11-yard run, and the next thing you know, it was a 9-yard run. And then Amari Cooper on that catch on the sideline. Jim Nantz calls it a first down. He clearly was past the marker, and then they put the ball down 2 yards shy of where he went out of bounds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they gave the conspiracy guys some ammunition, and they got me partially looking into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say incompetence, not conspiracy. It doesn't make, if it was a conspiracy, we'd have gotten the Bills and the Lions, because the Bills and the Lions would have been drama.
Well, I agree with that, but it's very hard to overcome a 5-0 turnover deficit and fix the game. So we'll see.
Yeah, right.
But I think they're more than happy with the Eagles-Chiefs rematch. So I will say this:
that's a good match.
I thought the Eagles last week was probably the best NFL play I'd seen all season. The only reason I didn't rate it stronger for my clients than the normal best bet is because the center is out. Hurts was listed as not 100% healthy, but otherwise you look at that. There was no realm in which the Commanders were going to be in the Super Bowl.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Going to be a big week. Tell them what's going on for Wager Talk and what Super Bowl videos you'll be doing and all that good stuff.
Yeah, going to really kick the football into gear next week, but basketball is here. In fact, I just did a preview of both national TV games tonight for Friday. You can watch that on Wager Talk TV on YouTube. And then I'm going to record right after this 5 top 25 matchups tomorrow and Saturday. It's a huge college basketball card. So lots of free plays on Wager Talk TV on YouTube. And, of course, my best bets and additional free plays on my page, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com.
There should be a prop on whether or not how the Kentucky crowd will welcome John Calipari tomorrow when Arkansas visits Kentucky for the first time. I think they're going to be classy at first. I think the first thing.
I think there'll definitely be innovation. I would be shocked.
They'll cheer them, and then after that they'll boo them the rest of the game. Then they'll boo them. All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
Tom.
Thanks. All right, we're going to break in here. When we come back, now we are open lines the rest of the way. So if you want to get into this TriFECTA, you can do that as well. ESPN has predicted the college football playoff for the 2025 season. Of course, it'll take place mostly in 2026 because we don't seem to be able to get a playoff in less than a month and a half now. But I'll let you know what they're saying, and you can tell me whether or not that would satisfy you for your team. We'll talk about that next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
Jacksonville State over FIU 71-67 yesterday, but the Gamecocks did not cover as 6.5-point favorites. That number was bet down from 9 points, and the Gamecocks win by 4. Louisiana Monroe with a 62-58 win at South Alabama. The Warhawks with a 15.5-point road underdog. NASCAR's official start to the season is the Daytona 500, but the unofficial start coming up Sunday night at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's the Cookout Flash. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, the plus 750 co-favorites. Joey Logano plus 850. Chase Briscoe is 9-1. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Electric cars are coming faster than you think. And that's why we're bringing SEMA Connect to Alabama.
Our team educates you and helps provide a long-term plan for your business. Where to put them, how to get them there, how to pay for them, tax incentives, service, and monitoring. We take care of everything.
Doing the right thing means bringing EV car chargers to Alabama. Let us help you with your EV charging plan.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone with my friend Brandon Pilcher from Pilcher's Appraisals. Brandon, what exactly do you do?
Steve, I'm an appraiser. I can value a property for you if you're potentially going to sell, and that valuation could also be used to help you with your property taxes.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon is licensed in Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. You can contact him at 706-936-3766. Call or text.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day, Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers will be possible for this Thursday night. Low temperature is going to be falling into the upper 50s for the overnight. We could also potentially see wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Heading into our Friday, scattered showers and a few thunderstorms going to be possible. High temperatures topping out in the low 60s for the day. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Football Friday. TriFECTA. Your chance to win the TOC Ice Suite for you and 5 of your friends. How cool is that? You and 5 of your friends at the TOC Ice Suite on the March 1st game of the Huntsville Havoc. Still selling out. Right, Joe? Still selling out every game? Are they going to sell it the entire season? They're going to sell it the whole season, aren't they?
Yeah, they still keep being in the top 1 or 2 of the standings. They're absolutely going to keep selling out.
They're going to sell out every game. It is incredible. It is so cool. So you get your chance to win that, but you got to be in it to win it. So if you want to jump on board with the props, all you got to do is give us a caller, and we'll put you on the line with us. You can also get in at the text window as well. The phone number is 256-576-4977. That gets you in there. And if you want to go ahead and text it in, you can do that, 73229-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. That will get you into the show as well. All right, let's go ahead and bang some calls here. I do have this story about the prediction for the 2025 playoff, but that can wait. You know, we've got calls to get in here on a Friday, and we're going to run out of time. So we're going to go ahead and not – wait a minute. Johnny on the cell again?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said his name was.
So, or is everybody Johnny on the cell? Johnny, are you back? What are you doing? What are you double dipping on me here for, Johnny?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Oh, it's Grumpy. It's
Hey,
not Johnny on his cell. So I see. I get it. I see what you guys are doing. Everybody's calling in and saying that they're Johnny on a cell now. Okay.
We love Johnny on a cell. Hey, let me knock out this trifecta, and then I got something to say. On the first one, heads or tails, I'm flipping a coin right now. I'll go with heads.
All right. So he takes heads.
What's the
Over under 2 minutes and 5 seconds for the Natty, for the national anthem. Under. Over or under 4.5 sacks combined in the game?
Over.
And will the Chiefs trail at any point in the game and then come back to win the game?
Yeah.
So, yes. All right, so go ahead. What else you got?
Hey, listen now. If you know NASA, when they blast a rocket off, they sync the video with the clock, so you can go back and look at every little thing. So that's how you could do the knee on the ground thing. You would just sync the chip with the clock. So
they'll do it. They can do it. It's just It's just not going to be automatic. It's not going to say, "Oh, the chip went over the ball went over the line." They're going to have to go back and look. Was the knee down? Was forward progress stop? They'll have to they'll have to sync it up. Yeah.
Whitney Houston is disqualified if that was a recording that was basically just playing. Why did she even walk out there? Just play the record. And Johnny on a Cell, the original Johnny on a Cell. I like in this college football with like growing corn. You got to till the ground, we were tilling the ground when we opened up the 12-team playoff. That was breaking the ground. Now you got to fertilize it, man. We're going to get some games that are kind of poopy, because it's in the fertilizing process. A lot of these teams are going to get better. These teams that you don't think are going to be good in 10 years, they are going to be good in 10 years when they start getting more and more money. And pretty soon we'll be eating some Silver Queen, man. So Johnny, don't get caught up in the fertilizer part of this. We're shooting for good games 10 years from now.
Well, remember, okay? The NFL playoffs first round, 5 of the 6 games in the first round of the NFL playoffs were blowouts. Were sucky blowouts. And so it's going to happen. It'll continue to happen.
Yeah. Just real quick, one more thing. We were already getting the best teams. We were already getting the best teams in there when we only had 4. So that problem was solved when we were just picking 4. We were getting the best.
You wouldn't have had Ohio State. You wouldn't have had Ohio State or Notre Dame under 4.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. We were getting the best team. The problem we're doing now is we're growing the sport, and we got to put some fertilizer down, brother. Have a good one.
I mean, do you think Ohio State wasn't the best team in the nation? I mean, how clear is it that Ohio State deserved a national championship? They wouldn't have been in. I mean, what did we get? It was a 7 and an 8 in the national championship game. 7 and an 8. All right. For purposes of edification, Whitney Houston's performance of the national anthem at the 1991 Super Bowl was lip synced. The NFL required the pre-recorded version to prevent technical issues and ensure that the song was loud and powerful. The stadium's large audience and noise could have made it difficult for Houston to hear herself. So the Super Bowl and the NFL made the determination to have her lip sync that particular national anthem. Now, I don't know if they continue to do that or not. All I know is the national anthem that everybody talks about is the greatest one ever, was lip synced.
Well, it also doesn't mean that the people that were 5 feet behind her, it doesn't mean that she wasn't still really singing. The mic just wasn't on.
Yeah. But that's what lip sync. I think they usually do that when they lip sync.
Well, it's some
like
do and some don't. But
like
but that's what I'm saying is that she practiced it so often. It's just like a swing or a golf swing. You practice it so often. She sang it the same way with the same inflection and the same energy because you could literally see her shaking as she's doing it. Yeah. So I mean, it's literally all it was just the video recording was going at the same time.
Yeah. Now she couldn't deviate from how she did it in the studio. Right, she had to nail it the way she couldn't like have a little extra long, note or drop in a yeah in there. She couldn't go Bob Seger and drop a yeah in there, and then it wouldn't have come out over the deal. So, now here's some more information on this. A backup recording of the national anthem has actually been required by the NFL since 1993. Don Weiss wrote in his book, The Making of the Super Bowl, that a near disaster scared the NFL into making a recorded vocal track as a must-have. According to Weiss, Garth Brooks threatened not to perform the anthem unless NBC played his music video. The two reached an agreement, and the performance went over fine. But had he walked out, the NFL and broadcasters wouldn't have had anything to play in his place. It's not like they had, like, we got the Whitney Houston national anthem. Backup tracks can also help in the case of technical difficulties or stormy weather that would make it hard to hear the singer. So we're not going to say that they're all lip synced anymore, Joe, but what we do need to say is voice track, right? I mean, for the lack of a better word, for people that know the music business a little bit, they're pretty much voice tracked, and they sing, and even if the mic is hot and they're singing it and not lip syncing it, it's going behind them. So if the mic cuts out, the anthem keeps going.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things where they start at the same time, and it's kind of like, all right, on 3, we're hitting the space bar. 3, 2, and then boom, right when they're going. So just in case something, they can pop that one up, and there's no that. I also want to say, if I remember correctly, the music video was Thunder Rolls. Or I believe
it might have been, yeah.
It may have been Thunder Rolls. I think because wasn't Thunder Rolls the one that he did that had a lot of national
the
attention?
Violence in it. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was domestic abuse. She shoots him, she kills him. Yeah,
I want to say that was the video that he's like, look, this was the agreement. You got to play it or I'm not doing it. I want to say that's the video.
The story went on to say that there's too many variables to go live. I would never recommend any artist go live because the slightest glitch would devastate the performance. The NFL executive told the Associated Press in an interview about the pregame performances that he produces. So there you go. They always have a little backup action going on. It's interesting. All right, back to the lines. Up next is Paulie in the Cape. Paulie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, Tom?
I am fantastic.
Real quick, the suicide hotlines for Detroit and Buffalo changed to just hang up and do it.
So if you're a Detroit or especially a Bills fan, I mean, do you not watch the thing because you're a Bills fan? I can't stand it. I'm not going to watch it. I don't know about that.
I mean, he didn't catch the ball. It hits the ground. I mean, he dove and hits the first down on the lunge, and then they move it back, and then he gets it again, and then they move it back.
Well, they didn't move it back. They just said it wrong. Again, incompetence. Now, on the catch, I'm not 1,000% with you guys on the catch because the ball can hit the ground as long as it doesn't move. And the question is, did it move?
But that was the first thing that hit was the ball.
Well, he had his arm wrapped around it at that point. The ball's not loose when that happens.
Hey, first of all, in the air, the defensive guy had 75% of that possession. He had that ball all the way coming down to hit the ground. Come on.
No, he had to have it. He had to have it when he landed on the ground. By the time they got on the ground, it looked like the offensive guy had ripped it away.
But the ball helped him do that.
Yeah. Are you ready? Heads or tails?
Of course. Tails.
Over or under 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the national anthem.
Who's singing?
Some dude we don't know.
Oh,
what's over? What's his name again, Joe?
John Anagata DeVita or something. It's John Batiste or
John Botafuco. All right. Over or under John Bon Jovi. Over or under 4.5 sacks?
Over.
Is it a bigger deal to do the national anthem or the halftime show? And is it disrespectful if you're doing shouldn't the person who does the national anthem get the halftime show? Will the Chiefs trail anytime in the game and come from behind to win?
Well, I could see them trailing, but not coming back from it. So.
Well, they got to win. That's the question is, will they come from behind and win?
No.
Okay. All right, we got you in, brother.
And then, hold on. Here's the bet that I do every Super Bowl. If they pull out the chains to measure for a first down, you win. If not, I win.
I would say no. I will say there will not be a measurement in the game.
That's
I would
what
say
I
no.
usually do. I go
Yeah.
$50. If they use it once, you win. So far,
Yeah.
about 5 Super Bowls in a row, I haven't lost.
Cool. All right, man. Appreciate you. It's a good job by you. All right, let's get our final break in. We'll come back. LSU Lynch and Brandon will close us out next, right after this on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Phil Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Phil Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Phil Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Phil Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at philpennytoyota.com. Phil Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
If you have orthopedic problems or considering professional care, TOC is the only logical choice. Whether it was a work-related injury or you got sidelined playing a sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game. You'll agree. That's the Orthopedic Center. Stay in the game with TOC. All right, let's get to the lines. LSU Lynch is up next. Lynch, welcome in. How are you?
How are you? Look here, I sent you a text. Is there a time limit for these picks? Because the game don't start till next damn Sunday.
No, you can make these picks all the way next. Like, you can make all 8 of them next week, so you can make them right up until
That's
kickoff.
what I'm getting at. All right,
Yeah.
because I know Brandon behind me. Number 2, Chris Stapleton. Number 1, son, if you don't cry during the national anthem, you ain't American. I don't care who sings it. Besides Roseanne Barr, yeah, piss on her. And number 3, look here. The Havoc picture of me and my son, Dalton, not only are we on 48 Havoc commercial, we made it on the 31 Havoc commercial. Go LSU.
Quickest hang up in the market. Quickest hang up in the valley. Gets in, gets out. He knows he's got time. He'll get him in. He'll get him in on the text window. Brandon is up next. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. So if we have any injuries, we can revise our pick between now and Super Bowl day, right?
Yeah. You got until the Super Bowl day, Super Bowl Sunday to get these 4 and then next week's 4 in. Because next week we'll have the side, the total, and then we'll have some quarterback props.
All right. Let's make some picks.
All right. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Over or under 2.5 or 2 minutes and 5 seconds for the national anthem?
Well, they play the Chris Stapleton version at every Spring Garden basketball game, so I'm going over.
I don't know who's doing this one. Do you know this guy who's doing it? John Batista or whatever his name is. Have you ever heard of this person?
Okay, I thought somebody said Chris Stapleton. No, I do not know this guy. So I'll go over.
What we were saying about Stapleton is that he should do it every year because it was great. It was the best. But he's not doing it this year.
I want that kid that played the guitar the other day at the high school to do it. That's who I want. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
That'd be cool. I wonder if they've ever had one that was strictly instrumental. Did they ever have, did Kenny G or, anybody ever do it that was strictly an instrumental? I don't think with Jimi Hendrix. No, he wasn't dead by then, but they never had him go there and do the national anthem. I could get down with an instrumental national anthem. Yeah.
I've seen Metallica do it at the X Games and stuff, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I could get with that. I wonder if Al Hurt, didn't Al Hurt? I think Al Hurt did the national anthem on a trumpet in New Orleans, like real early, like Super 4 or something like that. Over or under 4.5 sacks?
I wonder how many they're going to call back for roughing passer. I'll go under.
Will the Chiefs ever trail in a game and then come back and win the game?
Yes, they will trail, and
then they'll win.
I think they can. Yeah, I mean, every time you touch Mahomes, 15 yards. So I mean, heck, it don't take too many times to get 3 or 5 first downs if you need it. Is that referee that he's like 7-0 with doing the game?
I don't think so. No, I know the guy you're talking about, but no, he is 7-0 with that guy. But they're 7-0 with a lot of people. I mean, they're the Chiefs. They win. So
Joe's giving me the finger behind the camera right now. I just can't see it.
I'm letting you guys know, by the way, that the last time a non-singing national anthem happened at the Super Bowl was 1988. Some Herb Alpert was playing a trumpet.
It was Herb Alpert. Okay, I said Herb Alpert, but played the trumpet. Herb. Did I say Herb Alpert? Yeah, I did. I thought it was earlier than that. I thought it was like Super 4 because I think Super 4 was in New Orleans. So it was 88. It had to be in New Orleans because that's where Herb Alpert is.
This one was San Diego.
All right, or San Diego was my other thought. New Orleans, San Diego.
There's a Tommy Lloyd that played the trumpet in 1971 at Super Bowl 5.
Where was that one at?
That was in Miami. The one that was in New Orleans at Tulane Stadium is Super Bowl 4. Doc Severinsen.
Doc Severinsen from the Johnny Carson show. Doc Severinsen. So what did he do? Did he play the trumpet?
It says that he performed as well as Pat O'Brien did a spoken word version with the Southern University band behind them.
That's weird. Spoken word version. Why? It must have been a singing spoken word version. But Doc Severinsen playing the horn. All right. It's a good job by you, Joe. Great research. All right, Brandon. Appreciate you. So next week, full shows every day. Next week. We're good to go. Everything should be set up. On Tuesday next week, by the way, Baumhauer's. So come out and see me Tuesday at Baumhauer's. And then on Thursday next week, Hickory Store Barbecue. First time there. So 2 remotes next week. One at the place I've done the most remotes, Baumhauer's, and one at the place where I'm doing a first ever remote, Hickory Store Barbecue on Blake Bottom Road. Go in there, get your deal. Get your Bad Daddy's deal. Your Bad Daddy's burger deal is restocked. That won't last long. And your Hickory Store Barbecue deal is in there, along with a lot of other great deals. So go ahead and check all of that out. All right, that's going to do it for us. Joe mixed the show. I'm Tom Abraham. Paul Feinbaum is next. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on SiriusXM Channel 80. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Kevin the guy.